And we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to A Bookish Moment. I'm Sarah Burr.
And I am JC Kenny, and I am in party mode wearing my green because we have a fabulous guest who is the genuine article when it comes to all things Irish. Sarah, I think it's time to get bookish.
Yes, I have been looking forward to this bookish moment for a very, very long time. We are delighted to have Lisa Q. Mathews here with us this afternoon. We are celebrating a brand new series for Lisa. It is the Irish Bed and Breakfast Mystery Series. We're gonna so hence the green. I've got my green jug here with me, and when I say jug, you guys will know pretty soon why I'm using the word jug, because we are celebrating a particular book today. Lisa, welcome to A Bookish Moment.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first time on a YouTube interview, so I'm very excited.
Oh, well,
sweet. Nice.
We will,
We're honored.
Yes, we are honored, and we will go very, very easy on you. We love to have fun here. No worries. While our wonderful audience members are logging in and getting settled, we've got folks saying, we got a lot of people saying hello. We've got Farmhouse Reader. Yeah. We've got N.A. Monin. We've got Mizan. We've got Regina. We've got Sarah all saying hello. So hello, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Hey,
we've got Mary saying, love those glasses, JC. Mizan is saying, congrats on the new series. It sounds good. And then we have Julie saying, hi from Georgia with a peach. So we've got a lot of folks with us this afternoon. Welcome, everybody. We're here to have fun. And we have a giveaway this afternoon, too. So stay tuned for more as we go through our show. But before we do all of that, Lisa, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your career, what led you to writing cozy mysteries, and how did you get here?
Well, actually, I worked in publishing for decades. I'm a freelance editor now, but I used to work as an in-house editor, and I also was a writer for hire for various. I was a Nancy Drew editor. So
that is so cool.
That was one of my first jobs. So, and I shared an office with the Hardy Boy editor, and sometimes we traded off.
Oh my gosh!
Nice. We got bored, but yeah, and so sometimes I started filling in for authors who, sometimes things came up. We did 2 Nancy Drew books a month, and so and there were different series, like for younger Nancy, older Nancy, college Nancy, so I was working with a lot of different authors, and sometimes things fell through. And so I started by filling in for them. And then I ended up working for other series like Mary Kate and Ashley. And I read the Lizzie McGuire mysteries.
So cool.
A lot of licensed stuff. So I wrote for kids, for young adults and middle grade, for Sweet Dreams. I did a little romance, and then I really wanted to write for grown-ups. So once I went freelance, I wrote a little series called the Lady Smythe and Westin, and that was like a 3-book series, and it was like a digital series for Carina Press Harlequin, and and so Irish Bed and Breakfast Mysteries are with Carina, Trickett Lane Books, and that's my next series. So
and I tell you what,
I have to fangirl.
Cool backstory. Yeah,
so hard. When we have people in the chat also, Julie saying how much she loves Nancy Drew and how awesome it is that you were involved. We have Deborah saying hello from Chicagoland. We have David saying Salante, which is an ode to, Slancha. What's Salante?
Yes, that is. Well, you tried. That's the effort. Slancha is Gaelic for health.
Yes.
So
All
it's
right.
like Cheers.
A Cheers.
It's
Yes.
like Pande.
Yes.
Print.
That's what I was probably trying to emulate. And we have Donna saying hello and DHB saying good afternoon. Thanks everybody for joining us. Real quickly, Lisa, before we dive into talking about The Jig Is Up, I need to know more about your Nancy Drew editing. We have the original Nancy Drew, like the yellow spines, but there are like so many more of them now than there were. Were you a part of like the yellow spine series, or was it the there's like the Nancy Drew case files and...
Oh, yes, I was Nancy Drew's case file. Oh, what happened was it was the Stratemeyer Syndicate, and the yellow spined books were with Grosset and Dunlop.
Yep.
And the ones I worked on were with Simon & Schuster.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have been Pocket Books, Archway. I don't know. But anyway, it was Simon & Schuster.
Gotcha.
And it was like the late 80s, early 90s, when kids series books were just huge. And I worked for, they were done by packagers.
Okay.
So I worked for packagers, and there was an editor at Simon & Schuster, but pretty much, I mean, we did the covers. Sometimes we produced the books. You know, all those Hardy Boy books where, you know, they're like this, you know, arrange the photo shoots for the kids, and then the oil paint.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah. So it was that era, you know.
Gotcha. I mean, I just like did all the Nancy Drew, so I was like, where in this? Where were you involved? So I love it. Okay.
Well, I was specifically like the traditional Nancy, like that was considered the middle grade version. And then I did Nancy Notebooks, which was for little girls. And then, you know, there was the super mystery with the Hardy Boys, which I actually didn't work on. But I also did a series called River Heights, which was Heights was the name of Nancy's town. And it was basically her going to like college or
I never read about college Nancy. I may have to like go look for those.
There you go.
It was
Sarah, that's your assignment.
It's more of a spin-off, like Nancy did cameos in it. But yeah, it was kind of weird, but it was fun.
I love it. I mean, Nancy is my everything. But enough about Nancy Drew. She inspired so much of us to get into the mystery genre, whether reading or writing. What made you want to write about a Irish bed and breakfast? Well,
originally, when I wrote the first book, I was calling the series Shamrock Sisters, because there are two sets of sisters, the adult sisters and then the younger sisters. I had this Irish themed town, and I had the grandmother, I should say, running a bed and breakfast. It's not a great bed and breakfast. It's not the most organized bed and breakfast. It's cozy. It's built, you know, it's cozy, but it doesn't get like 4 shamrocks from the, you know, Irish
TripAdvisor.
Yeah, that was at the Advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the bed and breakfast, I think my publisher sort of really liked the bed and breakfast idea. So, you know, it became a little more prominent in the book, but I just wanted to have the multi-generations all living in one house, and, you know.
Well, you did a fabulous job, because the Buckley family is I just love them to death. And so, not to shortchange all of the rest of the Buckley family, but kind of our main character, our sleuth is Kate, mother of 2. Can you tell us a little bit about Kate, and without giving too much away, what brings her back to Shamrock at the beginning of the book?
Yeah. Well, Shamrock is Kate's hometown, and her family, the rest of her family is all back there, but she's a single mom with 2 young daughters. Maeve is 14 and Bliss is 7. And she goes to New York, and she is working there as she's an accountant, and but she has kind of a broken heart, because she feels like she failed because you know, her marriage didn't work out, and her husband is an Irish musician, and he went back to Ireland. And so when she comes back to Shamrock, she loves her family, but I think she was sort of trying to escape like it a little bit and do her own thing with her and her daughters. And she has a much younger sister, Colleen, who is, gosh, she's 12 years younger, I think. And Colleen is like a hot mess. She's like well-meaning. She's a little impulsive. Sometimes she makes some poor decisions, but she means well. And she always has an emergency or a crisis, and usually they're semi-comical. Like to her, an emergency is, borrowing Kate's new lavender jacket for a job interview, and then she sleeps through the job. I mean, she's just Colleen. And Colleen sends her Kate some text saying, can she come home? Like, she really needs to talk to her, but she has to talk to her in person and right away. And then doesn't give any other information. Kate tries to reach her, and finally she just, same day. Kate is a kind of a fixer. She's her sister's fixer. She's everybody's fixer. And she always tries to do the right thing. And she scoops up her kids and the cat, and they hightail it to Shamrock. And that's where the mystery starts. I mean, what does Colleen, what's the issue? And then when Kate gets there, it turns out it's pretty serious.
It is.
Yeah.
It is very serious. And just to clarify for our viewers, Shamrock is located in Massachusetts, correct?
Oh, I didn't say, yeah, when she hightails it, she is actually just going up I-95.
Well, depending on traffic, that can take a while. So when I was it's like, you know what, like, that's pretty. We've had to go up to Massachusetts ourselves. We live on Long Island, and it's like, oh my gosh, it can take, if depending on traffic, it's like anywhere from like 3 hours to like 5. So that's dedication. Yes. That is dedication on Kate's part. So you had mentioned, Lisa, that when you had started like thinking about starting this series, that you really wanted to focus on those generational relationships. So we have Kate, who is a single mom, which in the cozy mystery genre isn't something that you come across every day. So you have really that fun, unique bond that we get to see between Kate and her daughters. So I'm curious, like, what was it about that particular that theme that really pulled you into creating something about it?
About the
what made like the generation, like what was that, like, where does that desire come from?
Oh, well, interestingly, I always wanted to be in a big family. This is probably a little bit of fantasy for me, but I always wanted to be in a big family. And I have one sister, and she and I are very close. We're really different, but we're 16 years apart. And so,
holy smokes.
And there's just us. So we kind of had different childhoods. My sister, my dad was, traveled a lot for his job. They moved every year, but we do have a large extended Irish American family, and we have some family in Ireland as well. So I guess it kind of came out of creating, and also the sisters theme. I mean, I always wanted a sister or a twin sister, preferably. Like the Bobbsey twins were my big. Oh, I edited the Bobbsey twins too. I never grew up.
That is so cool. I just got to say, though, as the youngest of 8 from a traditional Irish Catholic family, growing up in a big family ain't all it's cracked up to be from my perspective. So anyway, so you mentioned that Colleen calls Kate, or texts her in a panic, please come to town. So she does. That night, they go on a little bit of a walkabout and find something not so great. Can you tell us about kind of what they come across? And was it Holy Angels, or I forget? It's another great Catholic
Our
church
Lady
name.
of Angels. Yes.
Our Lady of Angels.
Basically, once Kate arrives, Colleen suddenly doesn't want to, is pretending that it was no big deal. She's not really telling her. So Kate gets her sister out of the house, and they take Maeve with them, and they're going to go get a bite to eat at Farrell's, like on the corner, basically. It's pretty late at night. It's storming. It's horrible. And but Colleen's really being kind of vague, and it's driving Kate crazy. She drove all the way out to New York, and she thinks maybe their parents are ill or there's some accident or something. Colleen's in serious trouble, and Colleen just suddenly kind of gets wet feet about, she's like, well, I'll tell you. But Maeve is there, but they stop off. They see a light on in Our Lady of Angels at the parish hall, and Colleen's best friend is an Irish dance teacher, and she, well, actually, she was kind of a river dance type star. She was like her name was Deirdre, and she came home to help. It's St. Patrick's Week, which is a very big deal in the theme town of Shamrock, and so there's a big St. Patrick's Day show, and Deirdre comes home to help her sick mother run it, and so Colleen is like, oh, I was going to meet. Deirdre at Farrell, she must be in there. Let's grab her, we'll go in. And they go in and they find that Deirdre is no longer with us.
Eek.
So, and then ultimately, Colleen is accused of her best friend's murder. And then Kate takes it on herself. Oh, and then there's one other thing. The grandfather, the Kate and Colleen's father, is the former police chief of Shamrock, but he's still kind of the chief, or he thinks he is, or most people do, and everybody in town calls him the chief, including the family. So, and he is in a wheelchair because he was shot in the line of duty. Someone he'd put behind bars came and shot him in the PD, and so he's like in his 70s, and he's itching to get back in the game. So
the solving mysteries is in the family.
Yes.
Nice. We do have a comment from one of our viewers, Donna, says, my sister and I are 7 years apart and very close. I also have 2 brothers. My whole family has always been close. So that I think that kinship of being, having those bonds of family is always something that brings an extra sparkle to cozy mysteries. I love reading when we've got grandparents involved, cousins, aunts, all it's fun when it's a family affair. So I think that aspect of it, Lisa, is really going to charm your readers, because it's nice to see the families that solve crimes together stay together and all of that good stuff.
For better or for worse.
Yes. Real quickly before we continue our conversation, I want to make sure that we let folks know how they can enter in for today's giveaway, which is a hardcover copy of The Jig is Up. Beautiful hardcover copy. Oh, that cover is so gorgeous. Lisa, would you like to tell folks what word they should enter into the chat to be entered for a copy?
The password is Shamrocks.
I'm glad that you said, that's what I've always thought of, I think of the SNL, the magic words.
Secret word.
Yes, when they do that. So it's that's always my little inside joke with myself. And we also, we have a couple more comments popping in. So folks, make sure if you'd like to enter in for a hardcover copy of our giveaway today for The Jig is Up, type in the word Shamrock. We will announce our winner at the end of the show. We have Mizan saying, I agree. I love families and cozies. We have Regina saying, I read The Jig is Up last month and enjoyed it. But I couldn't help thinking how much I wanted to strangle Kate's sister, and I thought her father was so funny. So let's talk about those family dynamics, because you used one of my favorite descriptors for Colleen, where you called her a hot mess. That word is just or that phrase captures it just captures that state so well. I absolutely love it. So tell us a little bit more about the family dynamic that Kate is going into, because she's coming back from New York, and she's kind of living with her family again. So what are some challenges that maybe pop up during that?
Well, one thing. Because of the bed and breakfast, and there are guests there, we don't see a lot of them. We see them needing things, and they're kind of thrown in among the whirl. But they have to be careful. Like they're a regular family. Like I said, they're very close, but they bicker and they say that there are a lot of secrets in the family. Like everybody has secrets. Like all of them have secrets, and it's kind of like I don't want to be stereotypical, but it's kind of like things get kind of put under the rug, and there's kind of a cosmetic job done on like situations sometimes, but they have like outsiders living in their house, however temporarily, so that they have to be on good behavior. So there's a lot of discussions over doing the dishes and stuff like that. But Kate has a different relationship with each of the family members. I mean, aside from her daughters, of course, but her sister, she's kind of her sister's keeper. And the sister, she's so popular. She was Miss Shamrock, I don't know how many times running, and she she has tons of friends and whatever, and she just isn't really bothered by things. But there are things that she's bothered by, and that then we find that out later in the book, and that's why actually Colleen summoned her sister. It really didn't have to do with Deirdre. So, but we don't find that out till later. And so Kate has that relationship going, and then she has her long-suffering mom. I mean, her mom is like running everything. And I've had readers say in the past, like my agent, for instance, it was like, the mother, she's so, the mother, the mother makes sure everybody goes to mass on Sunday. She keeps things running, and she does like the baking, and she's always Colleen's always running out to Kilpatrick's to get like imported food, like that homemade raspberry jam is really coming from Kilpatrick's. And, their B&B is kind of competing with the Smiling Shamrock, which is across town. And, and then Kate has a very special relationship with her dad. And she's very close to her dad. And in some ways they share, in some ways they're very much alike. And and by the end of the book, you understand a little bit about their relationship also.
Nice.
Well, I was just going to say, and speaking of, since you brought up the Smiling Shamrock, unfortunately, we're running a little bit short on time, which I hate, which is never any fun, because this has been fabulous. But can you tell us a little bit about the town of Shamrock itself? Because I want to go there. I don't want to go there during the middle of March when it's monsooning rain, but I still want to go hang out in Shamrock, Massachusetts. So tell us a little bit about the town. Well,
you can go year round. So trust me. It's not unlike the if you're familiar with Salem, Massachusetts, with its kind of like witch theme. This is like an Irish theme, another dying mill town that was turned into actually, Salem has its own history, but Shamrock was basically a dying mill town, and the town embraced this sort of touristy vibe to make money, and it was wildly successful. So more successful than they expected, I think. And there's got like a very pompous and like over enthusiastic mayor, and there's like all the townspeople, but it's an inclusive town, and I think that's important to mention also. There are a lot of Irish Americans, people of Irish descent. Some people from Ireland are people coming over, but a lot of the people are not Irish at all, and so you see them also going about their business. So yeah.
Well, and on March 17th, everybody is Irish anyway. So
yeah. It must have been so fun coming up with all of these like different establishments that you have. I'm wondering, you've mentioned a couple of them during the show. Can you tell us, maybe share some names or places that people will visit when they go to Shamrock?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's the, oh my gosh, there's immediately I'm thinking of the pet store, which is Patty's Paws, but there's a place called Lucky's that is like kind of a kids hangout arcade sort of place with lights on the roof and like big cauldrons of steam and streamers. It's like a party city gone wrong. There's Great Shamrock Hall, which is like a big, beautiful hall, kind of like with Grand Central, station ceiling.
Pretty.
There's Molly's Fish and Ale House, which like really stinks year round. It's just they throw all the mussels out, mussels, and they always have a mussel special there. I think in book 2 there's a bridal store called Bridget of Shamrock. It's Bridget of Shamrock, and the fainting goat, or the jumping goat, I guess it is. And there's all kinds of there's.
That sounds so many fun places. I love a good theme. We've got a couple comments to catch up on in our chat real quick, Lisa. We have Mary saying, I love, and this is regarding about the family, that they have to behave in front of the paying guests. Yeah. Paula is saying that the glasses are on point, JC. And then we also have Regina saying, Shamrock reminds me of the cities that celebrate Christmas year round. And I love the idea of a theme. And having that, like having the whole town embrace it, like that must be like such a lovely sense of community that everybody
year round. Like in book 2, it's summer. It's like 4th of July weekend. So it's the Great Shamrock Fair is going on, and someday I hope to do like a Halloween one and a Christmas. So they have different. They have an Irish take just
for everything.
Yes.
And it sounds, I'm very happy to hear that we have a book 2 that we're looking forward to. As we actually only have a couple minutes left with our moment together, Lisa. For folks being able to stay in touch with you either through your newsletter or on social media, if you have any in-person appearances or other like online events that you're doing, feel free to let us know where we can catch up with you.
Okay. Well, probably the best place is probably my website. I have to update my events page, but I am active in some of the cozy mystery Facebook groups. I blog at Chicks on the Case, which is
love the chicks.
I'm there, 3 days a week there. And let's see, and have different, all of my social media is listed on not all of it, but a lot of it on my website as well.
Perfect.
So that's probably a newsletter sign up is all there.
Excellent. And folks, the link to Lisa's website is in our show notes so that you can click on it right from our page and be taken so that you can stay connected with Lisa to learn all about what's new in her world. Lisa, thank you so much for being here. This went by so quickly, as always, and we had a fabulous time learning about Kate Buckley, her family, the town of Shamrock, and all of the shenanigans that folks get up to in The Jig is Up. But first, let us also, while I am pulling our winners' information for a hardcover copy of The Jig is Up, folks, just to let you know, we have a new episode of the Bookish Hour airing this week at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Our guest this week is Stacy Keene. So we're going to have a fabulous time talking with her. And also, we are moving our episode notifications to Substack. So if you'd like to be alerted when we have a new episode out, make sure that you subscribe to our email list, and we will make sure that you get those notices. And without further ado, our winner for today is Deborah Klein. Congratulations, Deborah, on your signed copy or your hardcover copy of The Jig is Up. If you can go ahead, Deborah, and hopefully I'm going to paste this correctly into the chat. If you can email me at giveaways@itsbookishtime.com, your mailing address, I will forward that information on to Lisa for delivery so that you can get to enjoy the wonderful town of Shamrock and have some luck of the Irish in your life. Lisa, again, thank you so much for being here. It was absolutely delightful.
JC.
Chatting with you. I also, folks, we have to do another shout out to somebody special who's celebrating a release this week. with JC has
Yeah,
his
I heard of
newest.
that dude.
Yeah, he has his newest Elmo Simpson mystery, Dead to Ditch, out yesterday. So it's available everywhere.
Yep.
Books are sold. You don't want to miss Elmo's latest adventure. So we've got Kate Buckley, A Fabulous Time in Massachusetts. We've got Elmo Simpson, A Grand Time in the Panhandle of Florida.
And I'm just going to jump in here because then we got Coco Klein, June
Yes.
6th.
I think June
6th?
3rd.
Okay.
June 3rd. Yes.
June 3rd. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got some good summer reading for everybody to enjoy.
We do. Yeah.
So thanks again, everybody, for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, everybody, for your comments. There's lots of congratulations and thank yous going on in the chat right now. We really appreciate you all being here. And for anybody joining after the fact and watching us post live, feel free to leave your comments and we can respond to those as well. So again, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Lisa, for taking your time to be with us this afternoon. Until we see each other again, stay bookish, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, folks.
Bye.